Hey there, and welcome to Juicy Celeb Talks. Nicki Minaj recently delivered a bombshell, filing for divorce from her husband of 5 years, Kenneth Petty. Fans, who have long been urging her to part ways with Kenneth, now understand why. Allegedly, Kenneth has been abusive, controlling her with drugs. Nicki has finally had enough of being his puppet and enduring his mistreatment. Not only did she file for divorce, but she also reportedly obtained a restraining order against him for the violence. This story has everyone on edge, eagerly awaiting the next development. Rumors have been circulating that Nicki Minaj secretly filed for divorce from Kenneth Petty, and this isn't just any divorce. There are serious allegations of domestic violence, and she's allegedly seeking a restraining order against him. Fans had seen this coming, and it wasn't about Nicki, but rather about Kenneth and his shady past. When Nicki and Kenneth got married, everyone was thrilled for her, thinking she had finally found her dream man and a happy ending. Their love story seemed like something out of a romance novel. They go way back to their teenage years in Queens, New York, and were even high school sweethearts. How cute is that? They lost touch for a while, but ended up getting married in 2019 in a secret ceremony. Fans only found out when Nicki dropped a surprise announcement on Instagram, showing off their Mr. and Mrs. mugs and bride and groom snapbacks. While fans were happy for her, the secretive nature of the wedding was puzzling since Nicki is usually loud and proud about her celebrations. Looking back, it makes sense she probably knew fans wouldn't approve of Kenneth Petty due to his very questionable past. Back in 1995, Kenneth was in trouble for allegedly assaulting his ex. He ended up spending several years in prison and was on supervised release from 2013 to 2018. The New York State authorities even labeled him a Level 2 offender, suggesting he was likely to reoffend. Everything traces back to '95, when he supposedly used weapons to coerce his ex. But wait, there's more. In July 2019, after moving to California post-wedding, Kenneth got arrested for not registering as an offender. He had to pay $20,000 to get out of jail, and considering we still don't know what he does for work other than being Mr. Nicki Minaj, it's safe to say Nicki probably paid that bill. The real question is, why didn't Nicki push him to register, knowing the risks? As if that wasn't bad enough, a year later, in 2020, it came out that he was looking at up to 10 years in prison and a lifetime of supervised probation. This was a whirlwind of drama. One source claimed, the issue that the courts will have is, okay, I see that, but the problem is, just because he's famous now doesn't mean he was famous when he got the charge. He wasn't famous when he was first required to register. He knows what he's supposed to do, and he didn't do it. Fans were shocked, to say the least. The idea of the world's top rapper marrying someone like Kenneth was wild, and the internet practically exploded with the news. There were numerous think pieces from fans over this, like one person who said, "I wish I felt bad, but I don't. She's mean to other women, and she defended her brother at his assault trial. Then you marry this man? You are the company you keep." For context, Nicki's brother was arrested for assaulting his stepdaughter, who was just 12 at the time. Things got worse during the trial when Nicki wrote a letter defending her brother and asking the judge for leniency, even after it was proven he committed the crime. He was ultimately sentenced to jail, leaving Nicki looking pretty embarrassed. So when you consider all this, it's not that surprising that she ended up with a man like Kenneth. It also didn't help that Nicki continuously defended Kenneth against the internet. She wrote, "He was young, she was young, and they were in a relationship. But go off the internet, you can't run my life, you can't even run your own life. We love Nicki, but this is just not okay." Did she really mean it's okay to be intimate without your partner's consent because her husband was with the victim back then? And then things really went downhill. In July 2022, Kenneth was hit with a year of house arrest for failing to register as an offender when he moved to California with Nicki in 2019. Plus, he had to pay a whopping $500,000 fine. And guess who probably footed that bill? That's right, Nicki. So instead of hitting the road and going on tour, Nicki had to stay home with her man. Nicki was going all out to protect Kenneth, but fans weren't having it, especially after hearing that Nicki allegedly tried to silence her husband's victim with some cash. You can't make this stuff up. When Kenneth's ex, Jennifer, decided to take legal action, Nicki's team went into overdrive, trying to quiet her. They allegedly offered her hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep quiet, but Jennifer wasn't having it. She came armed with solid evidence revealing that she'd been in contact with the U.S. Marshals, who claimed to have uncovered substantial evidence about the events of 1995. This made Nicki look even worse, and she got dragged for filth, with one person making a strong point saying, no matter how much you like Nicki's music, covering up her wrongdoings is off base. She's, in a real sense, blamed victims for lying and even tried to buy their silence. You can still like her music, but you don't need a degree in morality and ethics from Harvard to understand that Nicki is off base here.
For once, stans need to take off their rose-colored glasses and hold their favorites accountable. And as other fans have pointed out, Nicki doesn't seem to have a problem working with men accused of assault. She worked with convicted offender and rapper Tekashi, 69, in October 2015 when he was 19. Tekashi pleaded guilty to using a 13-year-old in a performance. Nicki quickly defended him, saying, "I wanted him to perform with me at the VMAs. It is what it is. When I know someone, there's nothing you can tell me about him. That's just how it is." Chilly, Nicki needs to get someone to manage her social media because she keeps making herself look worse. After marrying Kenneth, it seemed like Nicki's music career took a hit. Despite welcoming a cute baby boy, it seemed like she pressed pause on her career to be a full-time mother and stand by Kenneth. Instead of her usual spotlight energy, she started doing a lot of Instagram live sessions from home. Kind of weird for Nicki, right? She's all about empowerment and chasing dreams. Then in September 2019, she dropped a bombshell about retiring from the music scene on The Shade Room and later hit up her 22.2 million Twitter followers, with the news saying, "I've decided to retire and have my family. I know you all are happy now."
Her fans were shocked, responding with broken-hearted comments and asking why she couldn't be both a mother and a rapper. But she seemed determined to bow out to have her man's back. She later relented and deleted the tweet, making a new one where she said, "I'm still here, still madly in love with you guys, and you know that." Looking back, this should have been a Queen radio discussion, and it will be. I promise you guys will be happy. No guests, just us talking about everything. The tweet was sudden and insensitive. In a later interview with Billboard, Nicki backtracked on her retirement plans by saying, "I love music and connecting with fans, so I can't really see taking myself completely away, but I want to be open to other possibilities in my life. I do believe it is important to become a woman outside of the magnifying glass. I want to make sure that I'm well-rounded as a human being." At this point, fans began to wonder if there was more going on because Nicki was sending mixed signals. That's when the speculation started that maybe she was being controlled and manipulated by Kenneth because her behavior seemed erratic. Nicki then accused her fans of making her feel bad by being upset when she announced her retirement. She said, "I didn't know my fans would act like that with the tweet. It hurt me because I felt like the way I did it was maybe insensitive to my fans, but I didn't think people were going to take it. I didn't know it was going to be that big of a deal. So that's why I deleted it." Things took a grim turn when Kenneth's 1995 assault victim, Jennifer Hough, stood up, claiming that Nicki and Kenneth were harassing her and even getting their friends involved. Jennifer also revealed that she couldn't work and had to move homes due to the harassment. And just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, Jennifer dropped a bombshell, claiming that Nicki and Kenneth got someone named Black to offer her $20,000 to lie and say Kenneth never assaulted her, basically trying to buy her silence. Remember that detail because it's important for what comes next. Jennifer rightfully took legal action against Nicki and Kenneth because, let's be real, she didn't ask for any of this. And let me tell you, the court drama is intense. I've seen my fair share of celebrity scandals, but this one is out of this world. You know how these celebs can get into some wild stuff. Well, let me tell you, Nicki is about to blow up the internet again, but not in a good way. Fans are saying she could be sued by Jennifer Hough, the woman her husband allegedly assaulted. Apparently, Jennifer has some serious receipts showing that Nicki has been trying to cover up her man's shady past. Can you believe it? The filing goes into shocking detail. The court document alleges, in one instance, she received a call from a man known as Black, who offered to fly her to Los Angeles to meet with defendant Nicki Minaj and offered to put a $20,000 cash payment in her lap if she recanted her story. It goes on to say, this act, combined with defendant Nicki Minaj's public criticism of plaintiff Hough, forced her to move in July 2020. This is insane. And it gets even messier because the suit also claims that after rejecting these offers, plaintiff Hough and her family suffered an onslaught of harassing calls and unsolicited visits. When the news broke out, Nicki's fans couldn't believe it, with one person saying she really had a hand in bribing and harassing this woman. I just don't understand why she would go this far to protect Kenneth. So with all this drama, fans were surprised that Nicki didn't take a break and instead hopped onto social media to bash Jennifer, claiming she's just a clout chaser. But not everyone is buying it, and some are saying it's time for Nicki to come clean because she could lose everything over this. But here's the tea. Word on the street is that Nicki Minaj has officially filed for divorce from Kenneth Petty and requested a restraining order against him for domestic violence. Fans are hoping Nicki finally realizes her worth and chooses to stand up for herself. This is a major turning point for Nicki. After years of standing by Kenneth, she's finally decided to put herself first. Fans can't wait to see what she'll do next.